Xbox 360 back in the day, so there is a lot to take from this video game. And as I said, I'm a really big Batman fan, so there are those critics out there that may be saying you're saying this about this Batman video game because you're a die-hard Batman fan. You love the Batman movies, you love the Batman merchandise, you love the Batman video games of the past, and you love every project that's up and coming for Batman, even the fact Ben Affleck is playing an older Batman for the Man of Steel 2 coming up in the next couple of months. I will not deny that I'm a really big fan of Batman, of course, being a part of the Man of Steel 2. Of course, Ben Affleck, of course, donning the Cape Crusader role for the first time ever, even though there was a lot of skepticism going on about Ben Affleck taking over the role of Christian Bale from the Dark Knight series, of course, from 2008 to 2012, being one of the best final Batmans in the minds of a lot of people, and there shouldn't be anyone else to play Batman after how good of a job Christian Bale did. I'm a really big fan of Batman, of course, being played by Ben Affleck, and I wanted to know what your reaction was to Ben Affleck being given the role to don the role of the Cape Crusader for the Man of Steel 2 and some up-and-coming Batman projects, and I threw that up on my YouTube channel at Jonathan Clarke 22. And yes, I will say to you that I am talking about this video game because I'm a really big fan of Batman. I'm a huge fan of everything that Batman's had going on for him for the better part of the last 4 or 5 years. And I've been a Batman fan all my life, so it would be very uncharacteristic of me not to talk about the new Batman video game. Even the new Lego Batman video game, Lego Batman 3, from 2014 was a video game that I really put over because I believe that game had a lot of potential, and it was a very different Batman concept, being the DC superheroes going to space and trying to save the world, not just Gotham, but going beyond Gotham. Batman 3, of course, beyond Gotham. The Lego video game series really took off for Batman. They're a really big fan of that one, and I would be just as big of a fan, of course, as you would expect for this video game, which is why I'm dropping as much of a detailed video blog review on my channel as what I have been, and why I'm looking for your reaction to this video game. And what was really cool about Batman 2, along with how they've, of course, announced that Ben Affleck's going to be playing the role of Batman in the Man of Steel 2 and up-and-coming Batman projects, is the fact they're also releasing retro Batman merchandise, including the full TV series being released for the first time ever on both Blu-ray and DVD. I found that really cool. After they dropped Lego Batman 3, they made the official announcement that the original Batman TV series from the 60s is now available in completion for DVD and Blu-ray, which is awesome for fans of the retro Batmans, of course, which I am, and I can remember watching when I was a kid on YTV here in Canada, and of course various networks that aired it in the United States. There is no denying that Batman, no matter how detailed he gets with video games and presentation over the next couple of years, there is no denying that the retro Batman is what I've always been a fan of, and what many people out there are a fan of. The Adam West and the Burt Ward roles of Batman and Robin for the TV series can never be beat. The original roles of people like Michael Keaton and George Clooney for the original Batman movies back in the 90s, from about 1994 to 1997, I would say are roles that are never going to be beat. So no matter who you have as Batman or how much detail you put into Batman merchandise for the next couple of years, you're never going to beat out the original Batmans. But at least DC Comics, Rocksteady, and Warner Other Games have put something together that's actually worth checking out. And let me put it to you this way. If you're a Batman fan, you're going to want to see this video game for what it's worth. There's a lot of detail. It will take you a couple of weeks to beat. It's not one of those video games that you can pretty much walk through and breeze through within 2 or 3 days. You've got to have a lot of patience playing these Batman games, because these levels will challenge you, and you're going to have to try to figure things out by using your Batman gadgets you have at your disposal. Now, there were times that I found the original Arkham video games on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 challenging depending on what you had to do, but within 3 or 4 days you had the game beat through completion. This one will take you a little bit longer, and you'll find the levels from level to level a bit more challenging than the original Batman Arkham series video games we saw on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, which I have played through completion, and I could go on for hours talking about the retro Batman Arkham series video games, because this one is so much different, and there's so much more that you can do, along with the new supervillains, the new detail that's been thrown in there. There's also a backdrop of info from the comic books. They go through the years of the current comic books of the Batman series. Of course, it's just awesome how much detail has been thrown in. Along with that, as an added bonus, the original cast, the Arkham series video game return for Batman Arkham Knight, which is the highly anticipated debut of Batman on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And I'm sure there are people out there who have already completed this game, and if you've already completed the game, I want to know what your opinion is of it. Do you think it's worth actually paying the $69.99 that you're going to have to pay for this video game? Obviously, the price of the PlayStation 4 video game and the Xbox One video games definitely factor in. There are people out there that don't agree with the boost and the price difference of $10 from the original PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 titles, which went for $59.99. Do you think it's worth paying an extra $10 for, and not including tax? But by the time tax gets thrown in there, you're looking at almost $80 for this Batman video game. Do you think it's worth the price that they're actually wanting for this video game from Rocksteady, of course, Warner Bros. Games and DC Comics? Let me know what your opinion is of this one, but I would recommend it to any Batman fan out there. It's a must for your Batman merchandise collection, and if you ever were a fan of Batman, you got to pick this one up. And if you say you're a Batman fan and you don't pick this video game up, then you're really not as big of a Batman fan as what you say you are. Now, if I had a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, God knows I would have this video game. It would probably be my first video game that I would purchase for the newer consoles to start my video game library off with, but unfortunately I don't, and what I'm basing this off of are walkthroughs on YouTube. I've seen some of the reviews I've read on YouTube. I have done my research about this video game, and I can honestly say, without even having played the video game, I can easily rate it 3 out of 5 stars, and I'll take 2 off for not playing the video game because there are some stuff in the video game when I first play it that I'm probably not going to expect, and I'll probably have said to myself, you know, I probably should have included this in the review. But I would recommend that you read some summaries on the internet about the video game. You watch some of the walkthroughs on YouTube to really get a grasp on what the video game is about. You got to really grasp the concept. You got to find out how challenging it is, and you're going to find it very hard, of course, because you're going to have to make that transition from PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 over to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, which sometimes can be very difficult. I remember making transitions from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3 and how hard that was to do. So can you imagine making that jump from PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 over to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and how hard that's going to be, of course, with the newer updated controls and the layout of the video games being significantly different. But the plus side, on the plus side of this, you get the updated graphics, and you get a highly better video game experience with Batman Arkham Knight, which, of course, is the first video game to drop in that series on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Batman making his PlayStation 4 and Xbox One video game debut, which apparently are getting raving reviews. A lot of people finding a lot of great things to say about Batman for the first time on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and you got to wonder, you know, how they're going to follow up a video game that's been so detailed and had great reviews, raving reviews on the internet like IGN, everybody finding something great to talk about it in the way of video blogs, written summaries they've been posting on sites like IGN, offering their opinion up. And I've read some of the comments that people have been posting on videos that have been put together for Arkham Knight, and apparently there are more positive things being said about this video game than negative, so that of course points you in a more positive and probable direction when purchasing this game. So probably it is worth the additional $10 the video game developers and of course the publishers of the Batman titles over the years are asking for. And of course, if you are a diehard Batman fan, you're going to pay the price of this regardless of how much they're asking for it. I am a diehard fan of Batman. I may not have the video game, but I am really a diehard fan, and the only thing holding me back is the price they're asking for a PlayStation 4, which preferably I would play this game on, and I'm not about to sacrifice $449 for a video game, of course, system that I would have to pay a lot of money for newer titles for, and that's one of the downsides these video game consoles they are putting out now. They are not allowing backwards capability for you to play, say, PlayStation 3 video games on PlayStation 4, which of course results you in having to go out and buy newer titles for a video game console you just bought, and you have, of course, to start up your video game library all over again, and that's one of the biggest setbacks as to why I haven't purchased one. But I would recommend this video game to anyone out there who ever said they were a Batman fan, and I want your opinion on this, even if you're just getting used to the game and you're just playing for probably the first 2 or 3 levels. Even if you only played about 20 minutes worth of video game play for this game, let me know what your opinion is of it. I love to know what it is, and of course you can throw it up there for fans who are looking and considering to play this video game on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in the very near future. Both video game consoles, of course, are offering this game to you. The only difference is the buttons, of course, have been changed for the various consoles. I believe there's also a PC version available of this game, so you might want to pick up the PC version if you don't have a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, but it is a highly recommended video game for me, and that says a lot with all the titles that have been dropped recently on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, like Until Dawn, which is a really detailed video game. It's a lot of fun. Dying Light is another one. WWE 2K16, which I recently dropped a review of for the updated storyline, the gameplay modes, and the updated roster that you'll get with WWE 2K16, and of course the yearly sports titles, of course NHL 2K16, NFL 2K16. There are a lot of great titles out there for you to pick up, and I would recommend that you check all of them out. But one of the top 5 favorites I have right now is Batman Arkham Knight for the sale that, of course, was dropped in the game. Of course, it dropped back on June 23rd. I think was the release date. And the pre-orders, of course, the numbers of pre-orders this game got were by the millions. Everybody were talking about it, of course, before the game was even released back on June 23rd. And that says a lot. And one of the biggest things to take from this video blog are there are fewer things being said in the way of negativity than there are positive things, and I think that's awesome that we're hearing more positive reviews about this game. What I am referring to are raving reviews for the Batman Arkham Knight video game, and that, of course, alone is enough reason for you to pick this game up and check it out. Batman fans have a reason to be excited. He's available for the first time ever on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Check him out in Arkham Knight, the follow-up to Arkham Origins from 2013, and Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham, the latest Lego Batman video game of the Lego Batman video game series. This is the first live-action Batman video game on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Take advantage of it. It's definitely worth the extra $10 they're asking for the video game, and it's well worth your time to check this one out and give an opinion on in the comments of this video at Jonathan Clarke 22 on Twitter, at Jonathan Clarke 1, and on Facebook at HEW Entertainment. Let me know what you think of Batman Arkham Knight, available now exclusively on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. That's one thing you got to remember. It's available only on the newer video game consoles as opposed to the throwbacks. And you can go back through the years, of course, and play the original Arkham series video game titles available on the throwback systems before he ever debuted on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. You only don't get the updated graphics and the updated story and the updated gadgets at your disposal you will find in the Batman Arkham Knight video game. It is definitely a game to check out, and I want your opinion on it, so give it to me throughout social media. You can check out the trailer for Batman Arkham Knight, by the way, by going to our Facebook page and Twitter at facebook.com/HEW Entertainment, on Twitter at Jonathan Clarke 1, and we also have it for you on our Circle, on our Google Plus fan page at HEW Entertainment. It's all going down. The trailer's in high definition, so make sure you check that out, along with reading reviews and, of course, watching walkthroughs on YouTube. Another highly recommended thing that I recommend you do, of course, before purchasing the game, to grasp the concept on the game. It looks awesome. I mean, what more needs to be said about it? Batman Returns on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in 2015. You couldn't return in a bigger way than what you have on the newer systems, and you couldn't have made a debut with more highly anticipated fans out there of this game, of course, talking about it than there are in the way of negative reviews that you will find on the internet. There always is that negative criticism out there that you will come across on the internet, but this game, it's very hard to find that negative criticism in there because there's so much to do in this video game. It's unbelievable, along with the, of course, objectives of the game. Of course, you have the add-on